it's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here, and look who's in the building with us.
Thank
and
you.
brought me some of this Kiss Cafe coffee.
Yes.
We got Jae'Won in the building. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're drinking some Mercer and Prince right now, so he can try it out. This is your thing, though. You're
Yes.
like not just an artist, but you're also like a host. You know, you're pretty good at having conversations.
Yes.
Where did that come from? You think your dad, or where did that come from?
I don't know. My father don't really like talking. I think it came from, honestly, I'm inquisitive. I've always been inquisitive since a kid. And then, like, a lot of my friends aren't good at articulating themselves, like, growing up and then in school. And I was always the kid that talked a lot in class.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because now look at where it led you to.
Yes.
And I feel like you've been doing music for quite some time, but maybe just recently started to say, okay, I'm taking this for real seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the hesitancy earlier?
Nepotism.
That's the hesitancy?
Yeah.
Listen, I wish my whole life I had somebody that could be like, if you have some talent, let me help you get to the next level. That's what a lot of people are able to do. We look at Will Smith and his kids.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it can have an adverse effect on your performance, like, because it's so much anticipation and hype, and people will listen to or watch you with the scope of expecting to see your parent or whoever you get it from instead of just letting you blossom on your own. Mm-hmm. But that was really it. And then it's like, those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily filling his shoes. You're making your own way.
Yeah.
Because for sure, the music, and I will say you do have a New York sound, even though you were in Atlanta
I know.
for so long. Is that something that is intentional for you? Because, you know, sometimes people have an issue with
They'll adopt.
New York. Yeah.
I don't think it was an issue for me. I love New York. Like, I'm really a hip-hop purist. So for me, it's just good music and quality music. I don't think I was like, I wanted to sound like New York. I was just always like, I don't want to sound like nobody else. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to not sound like music that I grew up on.
So, okay, so you said nepotism was the reason that you didn't want to do it at first, right? It's interesting because I interviewed Layla, and you know her father's Yasin Bey. And that was the first time she had ever like openly said that was her dad.
Yeah.
Right. And then even talking to Shy, who is Method Man's daughter.
Shout out to Shy.
They literally will be like, can we not bring up Method Man? But it's also kind of like, how can you not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because growing up around music, growing up going to the studio and seeing what that's like and shows and performances and having that whole experience, it kind of does give you an edge.
It motivates you.
Yeah.
For me, I think a lot of it also was, like I said, I'm a hip-hop purist. Getting tired of, like, being around a studio or, like, around other artists or people who's doing music and being like, yo, I think you should do this or do that. Because I really do study, like, artists, like, for real. And nobody listening, or then some time go by and somebody else doing it, they be like, damn, I should have listened to you.
Right.
It just made me say, you know what, I'm going to do it. Nobody ever listens to the person who gives the advice unless they doing it.
Right.
And now all my friends, like, other artists that's up and coming in the city be like, yo, you really doing it your way? I be like, bro, just do it. Like, that's all you can do is just do it.
You went to Clark Atlanta. What did you think you were going to do?
I went for psychology. I got my bachelor's in psychology. Like, I wanted to be a psychologist.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? When I went to college, I remember my freshman year, I took Introduction to Psychology. And I was like, that's the only course I ever dropped.
Nobody ever stays in the psych major like when they do it.
It was so much harder than I thought. I thought I was going to just be like, let me analyze, because I'm good at analyzing situations and people. It was definitely, I was a freshman, so I had no idea what to expect. But you stuck it through.
Yeah, I left high school. I graduated high school. Like, all right, if I go to college, I'm going to do psychology. It was either go do psychology or I wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the experience like at Clark for you?
Clark was amazing. Clark was amazing.
Like, take me back to my...
If I could do college over again, I would do it. The only thing I wouldn't do is be in a relationship.
You were in a relationship all through college?
Nah, not the whole time. Probably a year and a half. Like
from freshman? Oh, junior.
Nah, like junior year, senior year. Like,
why wouldn't you do that?
I was wild. I was wild.
But you had time to be wild. You were wild freshman, sophomore, then junior year you settled down?
Yeah, like the end of sophomore year, junior year. Like, I was wild, but it just hinders you, I feel like, in a sense, because there's so much happening, and I also pledged while I was in school. Like, so there's so much happening, and then you never have time for your partner or whoever you're in a relationship with. It's kind of like being in the entertainment industry.
Oh, so
you always on the move. Like, nah, I'll do it now. Like, but doing it in college was just like, I held myself back.
Well, what went wrong?
I was a cheater. I was a cheater.
Straight up.
I was a cheater.
Uh-huh. So why did you decide to be in it? Like, how did she get you to commit? Well, fake commit.
We was cool. Like, we was cool as a friend, and then whenever we would try to deal with each other, stuff would take, like, being away, and then when we finally did, it was like, all right. And then I just got to a point where I don't want to do this no more.
Oh, damn. That's what, yeah. And then was she with you while you were pledging?
Yeah.
What was the pledging experience like for you? Did they haze you real bad? Or?
Pledging is tedious. I would never do it again.
Okay.
I tell people that all the time.
Thank God you don't have to.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, like if I could do it over again, I would never do it again. Like, but it is an experience. It teaches you a lot of discipline. It's a lot of focus, and it's
a humbling experience.
Humbling as hell. Like, it is humbling because you really be like, oh, fuck. Like,
I got to let him do this to me. I got to do this person's homework. I got to do their laundry.
It wasn't even so much those actions that your life stops. You're not on social media. Like, your friends are out having fun. It's really the sacrifices that you will go through. Like, you might have to be at the radio station late, or you got to be at this event. When you want to have fun, you can't. Like, everybody else
it's like
is
real
going.
Life.
Yeah, it's real. It really is real life. Like, it's just like, this is the goal. Everything else got to stop.
Now, let's talk about your ex. I guess she's your ex now. Do you still speak to her? No. So it was a bad ending.
Was it a bad ending? It wasn't a bad ending. It was just, I don't ever talk to my exes.
Damn. Yeah. Cold-blooded. Not even, you can't still remain friends? Because clearly, like you said, that was your homie. That was your friend.
Yeah, nah.
Nobody reaches out like, yo, congrats. I see you on the Joe Budden podcast. I heard it.
I changed my number.
You are cold. What's your sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, God, the worst. I always say male Scorpios are the worst sign ever. I'm a Capricorn. Capricorn.
I fuck with Cap.
Yeah, Capricorns are especially, we're amazing. We're very practical. January 3rd. All right. We're very practical. We're very loyal. We're very hardworking. Scorpio men are cheaters, and I'm so happy you said that.
Y'all are self-centered.
You think so?
Capricorn self-centered.
I can say that, but that's because we also work hard.
I feel that.
And so I think the self-centeredness comes from that taking a lot of precedence over other things.
That
and sometimes I forget people's birthdays. Like,
I'm terrible with birthdays.
Yeah, I can tend to not do the things that I should be doing. Sometimes I feel like I'm a bad friend because I'm just so busy and preoccupied handling business that it's hard for me to like keep up. But the major things I'll never not do.
See, nah, I'm a great friend. I'm just
a cheater.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I'm a great friend. I'm just a terrible. I like my own space. So I'll be there for my friends, but when I want to be left alone, I'll seclude and not tell nobody. Like, I stop answering my phones. I'll look at my phone ring. Like, I'm that person.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah.
But when you need something, you be right there calling them up.
Nah, I ain't really one of those. I'm not an imposing friend.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this Joe Budden podcast before we get to the music.
Yes.
So how did this this evolution happen? I saw a lot of people giving Joe flack for that, too. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's Jadakiss's son. I feel like they gave him more flack for that than you do for the music. Like, I feel like for the music, people are like, okay, he's nice. He's dope.
Yeah.
But then I feel like once you started doing Joe Budden, they'd be like, he wouldn't have done that if it wasn't X, Y, and Z. How did it happen?
So I like to say manifestation, honestly. Because before I ever met Joe or ever did the pod, I used to be like, oh, damn, I should be up there. Like, you feel me? Because I used to disagree with a lot of shit he said. Like, yo, Joe bugging. But me and my pops and my grandpops went up there to do the coffee, promote the coffee. And we was talking. He was like, yo, you know how to talk. Like, I fuck with that. And then I went back up there again with Capella when we went to, when he did the promo run. And I guess it got, like, good responses and everything from the fans and the viewership. And he called me. He DM'd me. He said, yo, call me real quick. I called him. He like, yo, I think you should do it. And I was hesitant. He like, don't look at it as like it'll hinder you with your music career. It'll actually help you because now it's going to bring you more traction. But he definitely got a lot of flack. They be trying to kill me on Twitter.
Yeah, but I also think it just takes some getting, like, it's an adjustment period always too of being on there, and I think he said one of the things that he liked about you is that you have strong opinions about things.
I really stand on it.
And that is what makes people kill you, you know, and that's not a bad thing though.
It's not, because I really like believe in, if I'm wrong, I'll say, all right, I was wrong. I don't have no problem admitting I was wrong. But I also look at stuff with a lot of logic, and I know people don't usually do that. Some people look at stuff from just emotions or personal views. Like, I'll take my personal views out of it and just be like, logically, that don't make sense.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And let's talk about the musically. So I saw you and your dad also sat down with Complex and did an interview together. People love that. Yeah. Would y'all ever do a podcast together? Is that something y'all been kicking around? Because I feel like something like that might be the catalyst. It could even be you, him, and your grandfather, since you guys have the coffee business together and you guys come from different generations.
So it's crazy. My grandfather wants to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think my father would want to do one.
He does interviews all the time, though. I feel like, why not do it for yourself?
Nah, I don't think he would want to do one, because people even be saying, like, yo, they want to see us do, like, a reality show. And I don't think the personal side of it, because I'm a personal person. Like, I like my personal life to be separate from the entertainment side. I think he would want to separate that. Pardon. But I think it would be fun. I really think it'd be fun, because he got a side that people don't see. Like,
he's very funny.
Yeah, like, he's funny when he's comfortable around people, and I don't think he would do it, but it would be dope for me. I think it'd be dope.
I think you could talk him into it.
I don't think so. I think I'm the only person that can't talk him into it.
Just because of, I think, especially from the response of that, and I think the entrepreneurship side of things is important too when we talk about how your grandfather may have instilled that entrepreneurial sense. He's been doing this coffee business for over 40 years, right? And people didn't know that until maybe a few years ago. I knew about it a while ago because somebody mentioned it to me. I think it might have been DJ Killer Touch.
Yeah, probably.
That probably mentioned it to me. Like, oh, you know, when I said I was starting a coffee company, he told me that.
I think he texted me about that. Yeah. Killer Touch had texted me about that. He was like, yo, you about to do one? I was like, all right.
Yeah, so I think he mentioned it to me back then too. And then, but I also feel like the idea of family being a business, those are like those TV shows they be having where it's the scripted
crazy.
TV shows.
Yeah, 'cause it'd be
but
crazy.
This is real life.
Because we all got strong personalities. Like, my personality is strong, my father, my grandfather. So when it's jokes, it's always jokes. But when it's conflict or it's like just disagreements, it's going to be like, damn, it'd be like World War III. So.
But that's good because no matter what, you're still family. And you can have World War III and then come back together and still be like, all right. You know, and like you said, you have no problem admitting you're wrong. Yeah. Are they like that too?
No.
Okay. So you're just always going to be the one that's wrong.
I'd be like, all right, I was wrong.
But you weren't in love with doing that business, right?
Nah. I'm a creative. Like, I'm really just naturally creative. Like, I used to draw and stuff. So for me, whatever is creative, I enjoy. The fun part about making a coffee for me was like the testing and seeing what coffee or how we was gonna make it, and then coming up with the color Pantones with our partners. But the business side of it, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, but the business side is so important. But it's good because at least you know that somewhat. You know, do you think that in doing these interviews and podcasts, you're able to use your psychology?
Definitely.
Experience. Okay, talk to me about how that works for you.
So I started off doing industrial psychology. So that's like where it's a cross between business also. So it's like why certain companies use certain colors or certain logos and stuff like that. So for me, it's really studying things like that. And then when talking to people, it's just paying attention to what people say, their body language and how they react. Like, so I really just like messing with people's heads. Like, I really sit there and start asking questions or just doing stuff just to see what it is like. And then just like growing up, my upbringing had always made me want to figure out like, damn, like, why are they doing that? Or why a person saying this? And once I got introduced to psychology in high school, it was like from there, I just started using it in everything, like interviews, when talking to people, and doing music. It's crazy in music. Like, psychology actually will help you a lot in music. So for me, that's the only way I use it. Just
explain to me how.
Music's supposed to be personal. So you got to connect with people. People got to connect with you. They got to understand you. But you also got to, when it comes to picking out beats or certain instruments or melodies, you got to really just think about how to make you feel. So if it make you feel a way, how to make people feel. Like, I'm big on that. Like, when I finally play music for people, I just watch the body language. Like, all right. And then going out in the club and stuff, you just listen to music and watch how it make people react. Like, I'm a people watcher.
You know what? I think, and you do have some songs that are great for the ladies too. You know, a little vibe. I like the R&B hip hop. Like,
Thank you.
Like For You. Is that the
For
song?
You? Yeah.
I like that one.
Thank you.
I feel like that's gonna, that's a nice club song.
Thank you. Yeah, I found I got that beat at a producer camp. The engineer had played it, and nobody else knew to do it. I was just sitting there like, yo, y'all not going. Nobody gonna take this?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, like yo, send me this instantly. Like,
so
me that
what's
instantly.
the plan with the new music?
I just dropped. I've been on the.
Yeah, you just put out.
I just dropped
EP.
on Halloween called Bruce Wayne. I dropped the EP on the 14th with my bro Seth Gnarly from the Bronx. Called the Bellagio Suite, which is more like designer boom bap rap. But I've been dropping every holiday since Labor Day. I was supposed to drop again for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I still got some time, so hopefully that comes out Christmas, and then I'm gonna package it all up for the top of the year, and then I'm gonna just keep dropping a bunch of EPs, 3 or 4 songs, and just pushing it out there.
So you like EPs better than doing a full length album?
I don't think I ever worked on a full length project.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I know you have the EP, but is that LP something that a full length project something that you're thinking towards, or you feel like more like I'm gonna keep on dropping EPs?
Definitely. See how I record. Most people come with like, this is the idea of the music. I record in feeling. Like I really record in feeling. So if I'm having a bad week or a bad month, the music is gonna sound like that, and I'll just choose the best record and put it with the best record. So when I feel good,
this is like
I'll keep
psychology
recording.
for
like
real.
Yeah, like I really break it down from like a super mental standpoint. Like so, I just have when I'm having fun or partying. Like when I did For You, I probably had a bunch of records like that, and it was just like, all right, this is my favorite one. I'll put this here with this, like, and that's how I do it. But as far as a concept full length project, probably not. It'd just be the best of all my moods put together and just figuring out how I'm gonna sequence it.
What have you learned about the business? Because you do have the advantage of having somebody that can kind of help you, navigate through things and understand, like, but you also are probably teaching him too, because the music is so different.
Changed.
Yeah, the way that people listen, the way it's distributed, it was honestly like, and I'm sure you know that too, because you got a chance to experience it firsthand from, watching what your father did. But music has changed a lot as far as the business side of things.
It's shady.
It was always shady.
Like,
that never changed.
But once you get into it, you really realize how shady it is. Like, so I will always hear him saying, like, yo, nah, this shit crazy. Like, but when you get into it, you be like, man, why would they do that? Like, you'll have back and forths with producers over beats. Like, if it's 2 producers made a beat, one might want this amount, the other one might want this amount. And it'd be like, yo, like, it was all love when we was in the studio. Now y'all making it complicated. Like, so I'm really be upfront with me. Like, what you want for this beat? All right, and go from there type of person. Always be on top of your business. I've learned from them. Be aware. So, like, I have a team who watches everything, but I also watch everything and make sure, like, all right, this makes sense, this don't make sense. And just, yeah, that's really it. Just, like, you got to be on top of your business, and nobody's going to know your business or what's better for you than you, honestly.
Nobody's going to care about your business as much as you do. Did you understand the relevance of, like, what your father was doing when you were younger? Because, as a kid, you grow up, your dad's who he
was on the road.
And you're not really understanding it until you get a little older, and you're like, oh, damn, like, and then people are like, oh, that's such and such a son. When did you realize, like, damn, he's a big deal?
So I think my first introduction to him, he introduced me, was to the 24 Hours to Live video, and I was a little kid. I probably was like 1 or 2 years old.
That's
and I just
iconic.
used to love the video. But as I got older, because I grew up in Yonkers the same way he grew up. So everybody there, I got a big family also. So a lot of my family's there, and everybody there knows me, like, not as Jadakiss son, but just as Jae'Won.
Yeah.
And know him really as Jason more than anything. It was like playing Pop Warner football or like baseball and stuff like that, Little League, where the people who's not from there is like, oh my God. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just my father, but to them, it's
you
like, this a
were used
big
to it, and
deal.
everybody around you was used to it, but then it was people that wasn't from there that was like, oh, you know who that is?
Yes. That was honestly it for me.
Okay. What's the first song you ever wrote? Because I have to imagine you dabbled in it at a young age too. Even playing around.
Yeah. I think that's how everybody that do music start out. Probably the first one. I probably wrote my first like song or like verse, or tried to write my first one. It was when I heard Run New York by 50 when they was beefing with G Unit. Like, I was at my grandma's house, like, and I wrote it. I was like, oh, all right. But I really always just loved music. But writing it, I tried to avoid music for a very long time.
Just because of the nepotism thing.
Yeah, because it could. Historically, it's very hard for like an artist's son or daughter to have a thriving career. Like it's either they don't live up to the potential or they're not getting the support from like whether it be the fans or the people.
Because people kind of come into hate.
Yeah, like you come into it with just a hate and a negative view already from people. Like, so I always look at it like this, like, right? My pops, they came in the 90s. They think how we grew up, like kids who fathers or mothers came in the 90s, we grew up how the artists now kids grow up. Like, so you see like Herb or Lil Baby and like all the other artists, like they might have a kid in like a Rolex or like just a certain type of lifestyle. And it'd be like, our craziest thing might have been a pair of Pradas or a throwback jersey as a kid. Like, so it's like the light in hip hop business has changed a lot from back then to now. So artists was making a lot of money, but a lot of money then versus a lot of money now looks way
I think
different.
It's also ways you can make money now that's different than how it used to be.
Partnerships.
Like before, partnerships. But even on social media, people be doing Fashion Nova, like all those types of things. And, you know, Twitch, like there's just so many different ways that people can monetize and make money.
Crazy amount of money right now.
Back then it was like you got to sell records, you got to do shows, you know, maybe sell some merch. And that was kind of it. But now it's just so much easier for you to like go onto these platforms and, you know, do a little partnership with a liquor company and
playing video games.
Yeah, playing video games.
T-Pain just said he makes $60,000 a day or an hour or something like that.
T-Grizzly,
T-Pain, anybody who play video games is killing it.
Who are some artists around like in your era that have showed you love early on?
At my era, who showed me love early on? Probably a little older, Smoke DZA.
Okay. Oh wait, we like
Dub Aura out of Harlem. Little SNS, the whole Square Off, Trips and 12E, ASAP 12E. Who else from my era?
Like your peers, you know?
Kai Cash.
Okay.
Kai Cash. Damn, who else is from my era? It's a lot. I think we all kind of growing at the same time, same race.
Which is dope. That's a good feeling.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And this is a crazy question because every time they ask me this, it always loses me because it'd be like, damn, a lot of people did show me love. But I just never, because I be having genuine relationships. Dizzy Banko.
Okay.
Clearly Capella.
Right, clearly. Capella is very funny on social media.
That's my guy.
You know, I saw him giving himself props for, he was like,
he definitely big himself up. He bigs himself up.
They were like, why you don't show love to the producer? He's like, I like to shout out to Capella. He's very funny. I feel like he does take things like very personally, which is it's a hard space to be in.
It is, especially in this industry.
He will react.
But
I like that about him.
I understand it because people gave him a hard time when Gallus dropped. Like, they really gave him a hard time. Like, and if you know his story, his backstory to just everything leading up to it, it really is like, I see why you're a little arrogant.
Sometimes it's also hard when you have a huge hit record because afterwards, if like people want to act like, oh, people are very
Can you
quick,
do it again?
Yeah, and people love to call someone a one-hit wonder when they haven't even had a chance. And I'm not talking about him, but I just mean in general, when an artist puts out a song and it hits, people love to automatically call you a one-hit wonder when you haven't even had a chance to put out another song yet.
Exactly.
It's like, relax. So what is your goal? Like for you, what would it look like for you in the music business if you could map things out the way you would like, and not that you can, but if you could say right now, like, this would be ideal for me?
I want to be the best.
Okay.
Like, I feel like in New York, the biggest artist we got right now from our generation is A Boogie.
A Boogie,
like
he
is the top.
Yeah.
He is the peak.
He definitely headlined a Powerhouse this year.
Yes, like he is the peak of what a New York artist wants to reach at the moment. Before, for a long time, it was Jay-Z. Now it's A Boogie. I want that like to be the biggest.
Right.
But on the business side, I do eventually want to have like my own label because I would prefer to just write for people.
Oh,
and
wow,
do, like,
really?
Yeah, and do like A&R work.
Okay.
Like, so I want to be behind the scenes and really like, because this is a big business that we can grow. So I feel like for me, it would be that, like, get there, and then after I do that, have the accolades, be like, all right, now let me help you all get here.
You think you could do both simultaneously? Some people be so hesitant to sign to an artist, and they feel like there's such a conflict. So, but you could do both, right? You could be an artist and also have people sign to you.
I believe so. I feel like we haven't seen nobody do it yet. We've seen artists sign artists, and their teams work the artists, but we haven't seen the artists help work.
No, I would say that's not true. Maybe like a Yo Gotti.
Yo
did
Gotti,
that.
yeah.
And Rick Ross, I feel like when he
Ross,
was doing
yeah.
that, he really successfully like really brought everybody, with him.
I don't know. I want that though. Like I look at those people. Like I look at the Jay-Z's, the Nas, the Rick Ross, the Yo Gotti, the Nipsey's a big inspiration.
Okay, we love that. We love Nipsey.
For me. Like I look at all of those artists, but I've had a conversation with Currency before where he was like, it's about getting the money and doing what you love. Like, so for me, I also know you could be a big artist where you don't hit that A-list level or where the world knows who you are, but if you got your fan base, you can make a killing.
Look at like Tech Nine.
Yes.
Tech Nine tours, and he'll be like one of the biggest touring artists, and he has such a huge fan base. And and a lot of people may not know who Tech Nine is. We might not play him on the radio, but Tech Nine is...
His streams is doing it, his stores are selling out, merch, like, and that really, for me, I think is beautiful. Like, Dom Kennedy, one of my favorite artists. And a lot of people don't know about Dom. And Dom is killing the game.
Right. Has anybody approached you about doing reality TV, not with your family, but like maybe on something else or?
Yeah, when I was in college, they hit me up about doing growing up hip hop.
Oh,
but, yeah,
wow.
that felt
Your dad
good.
was not doing that.
No, it wasn't even him.
Because it does have to be your parents on there too, don't
I think
they?
my life wasn't as interesting to them. Like for what they wanted. Like it probably wasn't enough mess and all of that. I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, they could have had you on there cheating and stuff like that.
Possibly.
In college. Well, listen, I appreciate you so much for coming through. Like, I know we've been, trying to figure out how to make this happen. But anytime you want to come, if you ever want to guest host, that could be fun too.
Let's do it.
Since you also host,
Let's do it.
We can have a Kiss Cafe coffee day and have some whiskey and coffee.
I'd appreciate that. Yes.
All right. Well, Jae'Won, check him out and make sure you have 3 new songs that are out right now. Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
NDA.
Yes.
And For You is not really new.
For You, yeah, it ain't.
It is?
Well, it ain't out yet. It come out
I
on.
have it.
Yes,
okay.
you got it.
I have it.
You the first person to have it, honestly. It comes out Thanksgiving.
Okay,
Lord
all right.
willing.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming
Thank
through.
you for
I appreciate
having me.
you.